What was your upbringing like?
Well, that's a hard one.
Andria Jordania, CEO and founder of private agency.
I'm only 17 right now. I'm 10, 15K a month in 4 months. Can I swear in here?
Yeah, of course, very cool.
Staying up to like 3, 4 a.m. I would attribute my success to both those things. Don't chase the earning, chase the learning.
What's the key to having that really good and strong client retention?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Delayed, like the instant gratification, because if you can't sell to a warm audience, you won't be able to sell to a cold audience.
Thank you everyone for joining us for the 23rd episode of the CEO Journey podcast, where we talk about all things business and entrepreneurship. Today, I'm sat with none other than the CEO and founder of private agency, Andria Jordania. Andrea, how are you doing? How's life treating you, man?
Doing very good. Thanks for asking. How are yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. Very well. Well, thank you very much for hopping on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to get into this episode. But yeah, if you'd just like to just start off and briefly introduce yourself, what you're currently doing with your agency, what's state of play with business for you?
Sure. So we pretty much help online fitness coaches grow their online business. In the past, we were just, the average consulting type of thing where we kind of taught you what to do and it was up to you to do it. What all the business coaches are pretty much doing. And recently we moved more into a done for you type of program where we, even though we guarantee clients for fitness coaches, we don't really get them clients, we get them calls. And then from there, we kind of teach them how to close the calls, etc. But overall, we're pretty much helping online fitness coaches grow their online business to around 10, 15K a month in 4 months.
Right, that's incredible. So where did it all start for you, man? Take us back. What was your upbringing like? And were you always naturally entrepreneurial?
Upbringing was, it was pretty straightforward. I'm only 17 right now. I'm actually still at school, last year of school, going to uni next year. And I got into this kind of online business world in year 11, which was exactly 2 years ago. I was around 15 years old. I started off with the average e-commerce drop shipping type of thing. Obviously gave that a shot for like 2 months, then went into like reselling t-shirts. That was like really popular. It was just like Teespring, just popping a logo on a t-shirt, running ads for that, selling that. So I kind of started this entrepreneurial journey like 2 years ago. And then I found a guy called Jason Capital. He's very popular like in the industry. And I bought a course from him called Money Boss. It was the biggest bullshit known to mankind. By the way, quickly, can I swear in here?
Yeah, of course, very cool.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, it was pretty terrible. I paid 1K and then I literally was just complete bullshit. And then I kind of learned a little bit from there. I went on my own. I started an agency. For 4 months, I was helping e-commerce brands pretty much grow their business. So I was literally doing cold DM and spending 4 or 5 hours a day, reaching out to people after school, staying up to like 3, 4 a.m. for around 3, 4 months, completely burned myself out, didn't know what I was doing, wasted my time, and that's pretty much it. Then we had one guy reach out to me who actually ran an agency. I don't want to mention them now, but yeah, they kind of reached out to me. I replied, and I kind of started working for them off commission. So they ran an agency running, doing pretty similar thing to what I used to do. And I kind of was like a setter / closer for them. So I would just literally do Instagram cold DMs for them. I would book calls for them. They had a closer. They would take the calls and close it from there. And I learned a lot from those two guys. They're great, but we kind of had to part ways last year of September. So that's pretty much how I got into it. And then September of last year, I started my own thing. It was an agency. I got into, helping online fitness coaches. It was just like a business coaching program because I learned a lot about it. So I just kind of told them what to do. It was just like the classic business coaching program. And then start of 2022, I hired a coach named Kai Bax. He's huge in the industry. Probably like after Eman, he's huge now. And he with him, he just said, you got to make this done for you. What you're doing now is just too hard for your clients to get from point A to point B. You got to make it as simple as possible. And that's pretty much what we did. And that's how we got here.
Yeah, and you touched on, so you were working on a commission-based pay for an agency and helping them close sales. How valuable was that experience? Because a lot of people, when they're looking to get into the agency game, they just jump straight into it. But obviously you had that experience of learning outreach, for example. How valuable was that for you? Would you recommend people trying to get sort of in-depth experience working in an agency before jumping on their own and starting one themselves?
I would attribute my success to both those things, giving it a shot on my own, but also working for that agency. If I never worked on my own, I wouldn't be where I am. But at the same time, if I never worked for that agency, I still wouldn't be here where I am. I saw this video from Mosey, put it out like literally 2 days ago. pretty much teaching young people what to do. And one of his biggest points was, don't chase the earning, chase the learning. When I worked for the agency, it was, 6 months of straight work, and I literally made less than 5K. And I was literally booking like a call a day. Now, I kind of like disregarded how much money I was making because number one, I was literally 16, living with my parents at school, didn't really care about money, still don't to this day. My family's pretty fortunate, and I'm, really lucky. But yeah, like I worked with them. I learned a lot from the two CEOs, but in terms of making money, it was like, you might as well go and work minimum wage. And then working on my own, yet again, didn't make any money, but with how much I learning from my failures, learning what kind of scripts work, pretty much all of that, getting rejected, getting my first no, all that, those two things kind of work together. And then when I finally left this agency, I just combined both experiences, and that's where things kind of took off.
So, a bit of a juicy question here, man, but how much are you currently pulling in from your agency that you're running now?
Well, I'm going to give you the classic answer that it depends on the month. So an average month is around 15 to 20K a month. We had months where it was 25, but at the same time, because I don't want to brag here, we've had months where it's like 7K. For example, December was like literally 6K. It is a terrible month, but we probably could have done some things differently. But on average, I'll just tell you 15 to 18, 19K a month.
That's incredible. And did you say you're looking at getting into university next year? Did you say that?
Yep. And next year going to uni in London, actually.
Why would you want to do that if you're making that much from your agency currently? What's the thought process there?
It's just more a matter of I don't really care. Because I'm in school now. I probably haven't opened a textbook for like the last year. But like I'm just literally going there because right here I'm investing 8-9 hours a day in school. Yeah, and I'm still working on my business. If I didn't have that 8 hours, my business probably would be like 50-60K a month. But uni, yes, a lot of these guys, the entrepreneurs, they were like, yeah, drop out of uni, focus on the business. For me, I don't really care because, let's say uni, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day. Because I want to study law at a pretty good uni I got accepted into. But I don't really care. 2-3 hours a day, rest is on the business. People just blame like external things like, don't go to school, don't go to uni, focus all the time on the business. For me, it's just more of a time management type of thing. I can go to school, work out, literally work on the business for 5 hours, and someone else can work on it for 12 hours, and I'll get more done. Just because like what some of the other guys are doing. Now, yes, to answer your question, if I don't go to uni, my business will probably grow faster, but I might as well just be like, to my father, I'm going to uni. At the same time, I'm growing this. Maybe by year 2, year 3, if I scale this up to like 75K a month, I can stop uni. But as I said, I don't really care.
Well, a lot of respect there, man. A lot of respect, completely. Why did you choose the online fitness niche? Because obviously, a lot of people go for like the typical e-commerce. You said you're working, running ads for e-commerce brands before. But the online fitness niche, I guess, and this might be testament to why you're in this niche now, it's probably less saturated. So why did you choose that niche overall then?
The best advice I'd give to someone who's starting out, never go with e-commerce. It is the most saturated. I'm not a big fan of saturated because if you find a blue ocean there, but you can always sell to a saturated market. So I started with e-commerce, and then right before I got into the agency, I was working with basketball coaches because I had one guy who I was literally reaching out to asking for free advice, say, what talk about that. And I was really into basketball at the time, so I went after basketball coaches. That's how I kind of got into the fitness thing. So I went after basketball coaches, but it was online, and not many basketball coaches do online, hence why that market was so small. I got like 3-4 clients, like $200 there, for like 2 months of work, which is terrible. And then I slowly started to realize not enough basketball coaches are doing online because I do 50 cold DMs a day with like a DM script I got from Sean Ferris from literally his like free bio. So I'd send 50 DMs a day. I'd get 3 replies. Two of them would literally just tell me to fuck off, and one of them would be like, yeah, I'm interested to hear what you say. And out of like 2 months, I got like 3 clients. And then from there, I kind of moved into the strength and conditioning industry because a lot of the basketball coaches were also doing that. So I did S&C for about, a month, and that's when I started working for the other agency. The other agency was also, pretty dipped into like the online fitness coach. They were like a very broad market. They were just helping with like branding. So they were working with anyone and everyone, but a lot of them were fitness coaches. So I kind of got like a back end about that. Yeah. And then when I got back into it, when I left the agency, I went back to S&C coaches because I learned a lot about it while I was working with the agency. And then from there, it kind of slowly expanded to online fitness coaching, which is my niche right now.
Okay. And I guess like this can be quite a subjective topic, but if you were saying to a beginner who's looking to start an agency and they're unsure what niche to pick, what would be your framework for analysing the right niche for that specific person?
My framework for
what would you say are the key things that a beginner agency owner should look for in a particular niche if they're looking to sell their service into?
I would say, obviously, you got to look at things like, do they have the money?
Yeah.
For me, something that was very important is, are they a broad enough niche?
Right. Okay.
Just because basketball coaches, when I look back, I never should have done it. It was so tight. I would spend so much time on Instagram hashtags looking for ideal clients. If that time was dedicated to actually sending messages, it would work much, much better. Because I would spend like 2 hours and I'd only send 5 DMs because the rest of the time was spent prospecting to figure out which basketball coach is doing online. So if you're an agency getting into, the agency world, first of all, most importantly, go after something that you know. Don't just look at Joel Kaplan and Mangazi and just do what they say, just because they're experienced. Don't go after chiropractors because Joel says so. Don't go after real estate agents because this guy said so. Go after something that you know what to talk. You know the lingo. You have enough market research, and that's also another thing. Before you even think of an industry, you gotta literally know their aspirations, frustrations, fears, their inside lingo, everything about their life inside out. You literally gotta know what time they wake up, what they eat for breakfast. So then when you get on the call, you can literally you can completely resonate with them. You can really connect with them on a personal level. If you don't have that, that pillar right there, you will never get a sale. So yeah, my advice to guys getting into it would be, make sure you know your ideal client inside out, everything about their life.
Perfect. And what was the experience of getting your first client like? How did that come about? And what was that experience? If you could share a bit about that with us, that'd be great.
So first client, when I think back, the first thing I ever remember was, because as I said, I was working with e-commerce brands, and it was this brand selling bicycles, and he was actually my first client. I just got on the call with him. I had no idea what I was doing. I went through like a 1-month course called Money Boss of Jason Capital, and I somehow booked a call, right? And I'm on the call with this guy. I'm telling him some complete bullshit. I'm reading off a script, not knowing what I'm saying, because Jason, for some reason, said, get the client first and then focus on results. He's great. He's really smart, but I'm not sure where we got that from. But yeah, the guy like on the call, he says, yeah, let's do it. I'll send over $300 right now, because I thought $300 was a lot at the time. I was 15, literally on the bed, laying down. It's Zoom, and I don't have my video on for some reason. But I'm pretty much telling him, yeah, it's $300. We do Instagram branding, all these different things. He said, awesome, let's do it. Shoot me over the invoice. I showed him the invoice. I never hear from that guy again. So that's pretty much the first experience I have of actually getting on a call and what I thought was getting my client, because I sent over the invoice, and then that dopamine or whatever it is got released. I was really happy for like an hour. I was jumping up and down, whatever it is. And I'm like, why is the guy not paying? And then, 5 hours later, I realized this guy has left me on scene 5 times in a row. So that was pretty much what I consider my first client, just because of how happy I felt. Then my actual real first client came in September when I left the agency, and it was a personal trainer for $500. But at that point, it didn't really feel like a huge high, because 500, wasn't a lot. And at the same time, I'd been working for the agency and I was making a bit of money, but I never actually sent a client, because I would book calls and the closer would close these calls, but I never had that guy on the phone say, yeah, let's do it. I just send you the money, because I just took a different feeling. So for me, when I think back, I would say that first guy with the bicycles, that's what I consider my first client, just because of how happy and how fulfilled I felt.
Definitely. And I guess then, how did you leverage case studies? What did you have behind you when signing that first client that made that client say, look, I'm going to take the fun being there, go with your service?
The first bicycle guy, so it was, I was essentially white labeling. This is pretty much what agencies do nowadays. Just white label another thing. Get a contractor, get another thing, label that as your own, and sell that for a higher price. That's pretty much what I used to do. Okay. And I used to leverage the results of the person's program I was actually using. It used to be Instagram growth. That's where I got started with e-commerce brands. I'd grow their Instagram, and I pretty much used this website. I went on the website, I saw client results, I screenshotted them, posted them on my story. And technically, I wasn't lying. I would consider it a white lie, because it's not really my results, but at the same time, the thing I'm selling you actually got these results.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend doing it now. Now, if I had to go back, I would immediately do free case studies for 2 weeks, because a guy on the phone saying, Andria's great, his program is really good, is much more valuable than just a screenshot. But yeah, if I had to go back, definitely free case studies. But that's just to answer your question, what I used to do.
Well, definitely. And in terms of outreach, obviously you need to create that irresistible offer. And so what's your process of creating that irresistible offer that prospects simply just can't refuse, and it makes them book that call with you?
It was tedious. Me and Kai, I signed on with him last April. For about 5 months, we were trying to pinpoint the exact irresistible offer. Right now, our offer is 7 online clients in 30 days, or you don't pay. That's what we reached to. But I went through like 4 or 5 different offers, and it's, you can't really have a good offer in place unless you know your ideal client like the back of your hand. You got to know what kind of strings to pull. You got to know exactly what to say, all of that. You got to make sure the desire is actually there. Obviously, Hormozi's $100 million offers a book that really helped, but I read that even before April. For me, it was just getting on a call with Kai Bax, and him just saying, hey, you got to be so confident in your program that if you don't get them results, you got to give your money back. Because a lot of people say they guarantee results, and their whole guarantee is, I work with you for free until we get your results. Biggest bullshit known to mankind. Unless they're offering you a refund, I really don't think they have the confidence in the program. But at the same time, like if our program wasn't done for you, I wouldn't be able to guarantee results. So my biggest, change, my mindset change was just Kai saying, make it more done for you so you can actually guarantee results. Because me telling you what to do, I can't really guarantee results with that because it's up to you to do it. Now I'm confident I'll get you the results because it's my team doing the work for you. So to answer your question, if you want to have a good offer, you got to know your ideal client like the back of your hand. I would just recommend getting 10 ideal clients on the phone and asking them 100 different questions, writing it all down, and then going back to that piece of paper at the end of the day and seeing if any answers got repeated, and then working, for an offer from there. Just ask all the ideal clients, what is your number one desire? And if 10 guys say the same thing, that's what you got to make your guarantee. If it's booked qualified calls, if it's clients, if it's, whatever else you're selling.
Definitely. And like, what's your outreach approach? What platforms do you cover at the moment, their outreach?
So we grew to like 7-8K a month with outreach. Right now, most of our guys are coming in from ads. Kai is actually running our ads for us. His agency, that's what he does. I also got my VA in my account who's doing 50 cold DMs a day, but like less than 10% of our business comes in from there. But when I got started, I would send 50 cold DMs a day from Instagram, like 2 batches of 25 to online fitness coaches, and we'll just find hashtags where online fitness coaches post and just reach out to guys from there.
And you're testing like different scripts, you're testing different, because obviously with a DM you don't have like a subject line or anything like that, but obviously I'm guessing you're testing a broad range of different scripts and seeing what works.
Right now, I'll tell you the truth, we don't spend too much time on organic or just outreach. When I was doing it, when my full attention was to it, we would send 150 messages of each script, just kind of split test from there. I know 150 is a very small number, but like we tested out like 10, 20 different scripts. I asked every guy in our industry, what's a good script? Obviously, people didn't want to give away anything for free, but pretty much what I used to do was reach out to like bigger guys that I know had a lot of money, and I would just act like I was a potential client, and their VA or their appointment setter would talk with me, and I would just see their script and just start copying that. So I'd find the biggest guy in my industry, reach out to him as if I was a potential client, and he'd have a call with me, and I just see the script he's using, and if another guy's also using the same script, then I just thought to myself, okay, this should work, so let me use the same thing. So yeah, if you're doing outreach, definitely want to split test, but you never want to stop testing as well, because things are constantly changing.
Oh, definitely. And how many people have you got in the team working with you currently now? As in people in-house or freelancers, whatever?
Now I don't know how, because I've got full-time, I've got part-time. Overall, we're about 8 right now. I got 2 guys on my sales team, which are like setters/closers, and then I got six guys that are setters for my fulfillment side.
Okay. And were you outsourcing like right from the start, or were you handling everything, the service fulfillment, outreach, all of that stuff at the start, and then did you outsource it when you reached a particular monthly figure, or what was the case with that?
Everything. I was doing everything until I'd say September. No, yeah, I'd say August, September. Just because at that point we were only like 5-6K a month. That's when we actually launched ads. And I was doing everything on my own, but I just didn't have time for anything else. I literally didn't have time for sales calls. I didn't have time for anything. In terms of actually cold DMs, I outsourced that ages ago because that took like 4 hours a day, and I just didn't have time for that, especially with school. But outside of cold outreach, like messaging, client results, calls, all of that, I used to do, and then I just had no time for anything else. Literally my calendar was blocked out, and at the end of the day, I'd go back thinking, hey, what have I done to grow my business? Baylor Hermosi talks a lot about this, that you just reacting to your environment, and that's exactly what I was doing. A client would DM me, I'd reply back, but I never actually grew the business at all.
And in terms of like, because I think this can be quite an overlooked topic in the agency world, and that's like client retention. Because one thing being able to, get the client on board, having them sign, but then there's another thing in actually retaining that client for a long period of time and getting that stream of income over a consistent basis. So I guess what's the key to having that really good and strong client retention?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because a lot of guys neglect, especially nowadays, customer results. They think as soon as someone pays, that's their job done. No, especially with what we do and just kind of like a little further our ass with the guarantee. If I don't get you 7 clients, I'm gonna have to give you your money back, and that just
Yeah.
really, really motivated us to get them clients. I think I saw a tweet from Hermosa like 2 days ago, and he just said that you can either spend a lifetime, or you can spend a long time creating a really good product, and then it sells its own self, or you can spend your lifetime getting customers just to make a bit of money. So if you really get a really good product in place that really gets results for clients, your job is done. From there, it's just literally like a snowball effect, because the more clients you get, the more astonished they are with your program, the more friends they tell. Especially with the industry I'm in, every fitness coach knows each other. And if I get the results for one guy, he knows this guy knows this guy. So when I got started, everyone used to say this, like all the big guys used to say this because they knew it, but you never really listen to anyone else until you actually learn it yourself. This is one of those things that you can't hear from someone else. You got to really experience it yourself. And unless you reach that point where people are asking for refunds because your program is shit, and I've gone through that point, especially because September, October of 2 years ago when I left the agency, I was just, I just wanted to make money. The classic 15, 16-year-old, I just wanted to make money. As soon as I got paid, all right, let me outsource you to this guy that I'm paying literally half your price for. He can do all the work for you. And 2 months later, all these clients are like, hey, what's going on? I'm not getting results you promised me. And until I literally had to borrow my money from my dad, I didn't even focus about my client results.
So what was that the lowest point, would you say, in your whole career when running that agency?
Yeah, absolutely. Because for like 3 months straight, I just signed like 4 clients, and I got like I was selling a £500 offer, and then I pumped it up to like $997. I made around like 2.53K, which for me was like crazy. I was on top of the world. And even though I never guaranteed guys results, just for me screwing people off, it just pisses me off. I've never got screwed over like that, but you just got like a feeling in your heart when you haven't got some results. He's asking you for a refund. Do you say yes or no? And yeah, looking back, I probably did the right thing. At the time, if I was really debating whether it's the right thing or not, but that was definitely the lowest point. Just me asking for my dad, give me $700, and then I got reset to zero, and then I have to go back, really work on the program, and then I could get clients. So as I said, as much as I preach it now, you don't learn how important client results are until you actually experience something like that.
Oh, definitely. And how did you bounce back from that? What were the key drivers in you that thought, look, need to get from this low point and just keep pushing and pushing? How did you really, get the ball and just bounce back from such a low point?
Because like the thing was, I would get clients and then I'd fall back down. Yeah. This actually happened now, especially with the new offer with the refunds. I had to refund guys. I would literally make money, refund them, make money, refund them, make a lot of money, refund 2-3 guys. And that's pretty much when I realized, I'm growing the business, I'm making money, but in the long term, I'm really not. I'm not scaling this thing anywhere. So I went back, completely turned off ads, turned off organic. I didn't make money for like 2-3 months straight, which is not great, but I just kind of delayed like the instant gratification for where we're at now. So I literally just bought the programs of like the biggest guys in my industries, watched all of them for like a month straight, and then I went back, did my own thing, pretty much put all these like 5 videos together. Was the most valuable part, put it into one video, make a full course about it, then go out, hire the best appointments there is, hire the best VAs there is, and then start installing them on my clients' accounts so they can actually get results. Because I really didn't care about the client results, and it's not a great thing to say, but when I got started, I just didn't know how important it was. The only thing I cared about was the money.
Definitely, man, definitely. And obviously, we've touched on the low points, but obviously you've had massive success with it. And I guess what were your key points in being able to scale your agency? Because, a lot of people talk about the, zero to first client, but then I'm sure there's a big path from that first client to having 10 clients. So what was the key factors that allowed you to scale to that point?
Just literally just do the same thing over and over and over. I'll credit a lot of my success just to my Instagram, because that's kind of a brand thing. Yeah. Especially nowadays, it's just literally your website is the first impression people have of you. Yeah. And once you get your clients and you get them results, you literally just do the same thing over and over and over to get 10 clients. Maybe the process you use to get 3 clients is not going to work to get 300, but it's definitely going to work to get you 10 clients. Once you get 10 clients, you have enough, funds available to go out, learn new skills on how you can actually scale this even further. And that's probably been the biggest thing. Just finding new ways to scale it further. But if you do one thing and it works, just do the same thing over until you actually get 10 clients. And then from there, you got to change it up because it might not be scalable.
Okay. And obviously you've said about, running paid ads to get leads for the agency. You're outsourcing to, Kyle Back, he's handling that stuff for you. When should an agency owner really look at running paid ads to get clients for their agency instead of going the organic cold outreach approach?
No less than 10K a month. A lot of guys, a lot of guys might hate me for saying this. I actually put out a post about this yesterday. It was heavily, specific to online fitness coaches, because a lot of people just say run ads, but you definitely don't run ads. If you don't know if you have a good offer in place, if you don't know that there's actually demand for your offer, and more importantly, you don't know if your offer actually works, there is no reason to run paid ads, because you got to pay money up front and you have no idea if you're going to get a return on it or not. I get on like 2-3 sales calls a day, or I used to. Now my closing mainly gets them, and a lot of guys have been screwed over by running ads, and they just haven't made any money, and no one has any idea why. So unless you're like 10K a month, and you have like a scalable system in place, the back end, like you can get 10 clients in one day, you can book this many calls in one day, and your program actually works, don't even think about ads. Because if you can't sell to a warm audience, you won't be able to sell to a cold audience.
Definitely, man. And I guess now, like, more broadly speaking, what really separates your agency from other agencies? How have you been able to establish a competitive edge?
Very, very straightforward. So there's agencies kind of doing what we do, because even though our thing is done for you, there's a lot of the back end that goes into it. Which is credibility, just getting you, the credible Instagram page. And that's what all the agencies do. And they charge like 2-3K for that. And then there's obviously like the agencies that give you an appointment setter that install it into your account, and they start doing cold DMs and book calls. We kind of combined the two things and then also added coaching into the pact. So we essentially are like a combination of like 4 or 5 different programs. And right now, like, to tell you the complete truth, with everything we're doing, like the 3 pillars that we combine, I don't know anyone else doing what we're doing. There's a lot of individual agencies doing like a small part of what we do, but overall, I haven't seen anything. And obviously our offer exemplifies that, because 7 clients in 30 days, obviously it's not an easy thing. And especially because we mainly work with guys who are just getting off the ground. They're making less than $1K a month. And it's really hard to do that if you don't have an Instagram, if you don't have a warm audience. But that's kind of why we use those other things like a VA, like an appointment setter, like that, credibility and whatnot.
Perfect, man. Perfect. And obviously, you're going to university very soon, I guess. And, what's in the pipeline aside from university in terms of business-wise? Are you looking to, scale your agency, keep scaling that, or are you looking to venture into other businesses? What's the case with that?
Scale this as far as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, like, because it was, Hermos yet again said it in literally his latest video, because a lot of guys, when they reach a certain point, whether 10-20K a month, they're like, okay, I got this win, how do I get another win? In reality, you should be asking yourself, all right, how do I extend this win even further or get even bigger win? If I just want to scale it to like, maybe 50K by next, I don't even have figures. I've got them written down somewhere for my yearly goals and whatnot. But I just want to scale even further. Right now, last week, I've been spending on recruiting. Right now, our priority is not really getting clients, because we can't bring them upwards. Most importantly, because I've got exams in like a month. In 2 months, I've got A-levels. And I just, my closer would have to be taking the calls, and he's not fully trained to do that. So the next month we'll probably, do that, get the back end in place, really make it scalable, make it really good to offer. And then maybe in June, July, we'll focus on scaling, reach to a point like 20-30K recurring. And then next year when I'm at uni, that's when, this will go full blast and scale it up to like 50-60.
That's pretty mad, man. And, like looking at the whole agency space, there's a load of content creators there, providing value, but then there's also a lot of bullshit in the space as well, a lot of white noise. I guess, who are the people that you watch and, listen to gain that crucial advice for the agency game?
All right. Just because the free value, no matter how great a person is, like Iman Ghazi, I've been watching that guy for 4 years. He's literally been my idol for 4 years. Recently, his content's gone to complete shit, just because completely understandable, but he's focusing more on actually growing and actually making money, rather than in the past, it was literally just sharing his story when he was living in London in his, apartment on his own, making, 100K a month. He was literally just giving free advice, documenting his life. Those were like the best times of his vlogs. Compared to now, where it's all about how to make money as a beginner, hence why he has 2 million subscribers. But I definitely focus on Iman Ghazi. Go to like recently uploaded, scroll down a shit ton and go to his latest videos when he was in South Africa doing monk mode, in his villas and etc. I would also, Joel Camp was really good, but yet again, everyone's content is just made to sell something, especially as free content. Yeah. For me, like most of my value, I just get from Kybacks because I pay him a lot of money and he just answers all my questions and he's making like 200-300K a month. Other than that, Montel Gordon, he's really good for the agency space. Who else do I have from the top of my head? Twitter is like a gold mine I found lately. It's not really like my feed is not really for the agency space. It's more productivity. Dakota Robertson, Dango, obviously like the Hermosis, the Jason Capitals, all those guys are great. But yeah, just Twitter. I'm following some random, like I don't even know their name, but my Twitter feed, just because like Dakota literally likes. Magray is also really good, by the way. Dakota just likes like a bunch of posts that are about. I'm guessing it from they're his students. They just do some really good content, and I just see them. But those are the top three I'd recommend. Eman and Montel Gordon and Magray. Those would be my top three.
Well, definitely. I agree with you, especially on there. I've been listening to a lot of Montel Gordon at the moment. I feel like a lot of these smaller content creators provide the most value, and they have less to sell you as well at the end of the day. So yeah, no, definitely agree, man. And guess a final question to end off with: if you were starting from zero, and obviously you're a young guy at the moment, but if you've done completely zero, you have to go to the game as a complete beginner. What would be, I don't know, like your three top services that you would look to sell to other businesses right now?
So if I was a complete beginner and I had to choose a niche, I had to choose an offer I had nothing.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Well, that's a hard one. Just because I know a lot about my industry, not much about it in any way.
Where do you see a lot of opportunity and value at the moment, 2023?
TikTok ads. There we go. TikTok ads. All right, there we go. I have an answer for you because a friend kind of asked me the exact same thing. Local shops run TikTok ads for them. Facebook ads were huge 2019, 2020. TikTok ads are the next thing. Always focus local. I wish I could do this, but I can't because I'm in Spain. I barely speak Spanish. When I got started, local, go on Google Maps, search up whatever your niche is. Jewelry shops, gym owners, hair salons, whatever it is. Work with two hair salons for free. Run TikTok ads for them. See how many clients you get them. Smash the results. Turn around, be like, hey, record me 2 videos. And from now on, it's $750 a month plus whatever the ad spend is. Run ads for them, and if you really know what you're doing, and I wouldn't even recommend running the ads yourself when you're starting out. Either get a course and really learn them, and in that case, you can run them on your own, or just hire a contractor and run TikTok ads. I don't know, a guy in India or Philippines, but just make sure he knows what he's doing. But definitely local, definitely TikTok ads. The niche depends on you. I'd go with something like hair salons or jewelry shops.
Definitely. Well, key piece of value there. But yeah, I think that was a great question to end off the podcast with. Andrea, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. Really appreciate your time. Is there anything final that you'd like to say to the viewers? Any words of advice?
Nothing else, man. Just put one foot in front of the other. Don't focus on the long term. Just go one step at a time. Other than that, nothing else from me, Tom. I appreciate you for having me on.
No, definitely, man. And obviously, I'll plug your Instagram. We've got a lot of useful content on there. So I'll plug all that in the description. So, feel free to check Andrea out. A lot of valuable content there for anyone looking to start off in business. But yeah, as I said, great to have you on, Andrea. And I wish you the best of luck with all your future ventures and scaling your agency, and then obviously going to university next year. So yeah, best of luck, man.
All right. Awesome. I appreciate you, Tom, for having me on. And I wish you the best.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Have a nice one.